Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is Rob with Instinct Bassin. Hopefully this video will help you out a little bit. I am going to go over what my current setup is and just go over some things that I like about it and some things that I might change down the road. Hopefully it will help you out if you're doing any kind of shopping soon or anything like that. I know Father's Day just passed us, but we should have some other sales coming up in the near future. So let's go over this. Hopefully you'll get some good, useful info out of it. Before we get started, be sure to check out the GPSstore.com. They are our partner for the year. They have great deals on combination units. You can get a Livescope and a Garmin fish finder for a good price. Be sure to check them out. Again, the GPSstore.com. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So my current unit, and I'll start at the console, and the sun is still coming up here, so it's a little bit dark. I apologize, but hopefully you'll still be able to see that. So my current unit here at the console is going to be the 106 SV, and I'll just go over some pros and cons of it. I really like this unit a lot. There's not a whole lot I would change on it. And the main reason is just because it really has everything that I need for a console unit. It also works great at the bow as well if you're going to do that. This is the 106 SV Echomap UHD, so it's not the UHD 2 model. And I'll go over some of those differences as well in this video. But so the main thing I use this unit for currently, because I'm not really tournament fishing at the moment, and so I'm not scouting out new lakes and that type of stuff, is mainly just for the charts. And as you will be able to see, you know, I've been in this area the past few weeks. This is Headwaters Lake, so it's not very detailed on these maps. But that's the main thing I use this for. I use it for mapping, and then I have my other setup. I'm sitting in the water right now, so it's probably not going to look great. My clear view, I have a combination set as number 3, and then I have my side view set as number 4. And again, I'm not moving. That's why you don't really see much. We'll just go back to home, and I'll stick it at the fishing chart. But yeah, this basically has everything that you really are looking for currently in a fish finder. You know, it's got all those options that I just showed you, plus it is Livescope compatible, of course. It's got a great processor in it, so it's a fast unit. It comes with good maps. I still use the regular maps that it came with. I haven't upgraded yet. I actually have a card for the Vision Plus ones that I haven't actually installed yet, just because I've heard it's such a pain to install. So I'll probably do that in the future, and stay tuned for that video whenever I get a hold of it. But it does have the 2 SD card slots here. It's got the 2 network ports in the back as well. The 126 SV would also be a great option, obviously, here at the console. But really, in my mind, this unit is plenty big enough. And in fact, if I went with a bigger one, you know, it may hit some stuff over here or something like that, or I may need to go with a different mount configuration if I went with the bigger unit. So I am totally happy with the 106 SV. Really, there's not a whole lot I would change on it. The mounting system for when you put it on can be a little tricky when you first get started with it. Just be sure that there's a little pin that goes right here. Just make sure that it clips in good, and you shouldn't have any problems with it at all. I did have it fall off once, but it was really my fault. I didn't have it clipped in good. So they do make locks for them as well, but that would be really my only minor gripe on this. And I will say also that a lot of folks have talked maybe about the base maps. Just make sure when you're comparing maps that you're comparing apples to apples and oranges to oranges, that type of thing. You want to make sure that you're comparing base maps to base maps, and not, you know, base maps from Garmin to Lowrance C maps that you have to pay for. So, you know, if you're going to compare C maps, make sure you're comparing them to the Vision Plus from Garmin. So just make sure you're comparing, you know, apples to apples, like I said there. So that's basically my console unit. Let's go ahead and go to the bow. And so at the bow, I have the 93 SV, which I used to have at the console. And right now I typically use it solely for Livescope. And since I fish in Florida in usually less than 10 feet of water, I'm almost always in panoptics, or I mean perspective mode. My trolling motor is on spotlight right now, so that's why it's moving around. Here, I can take that off of there. So yeah, I've got the 93 here. If I was going to change anything about that, it would be, you know, maybe a bigger fish finder for using Livescope. Typically, I would recommend the 106 as probably the minimum size. But I'll be honest with you, I haven't had that many problems seeing stuff. Now maybe that's because I don't have a basis for comparison. Like, I can see these fish over here just fine. Those are probably gar or alligators, who knows. But that's what I mainly use this unit for. It is still a great unit. However, the processor speed on the 106 is so much better. I do think it might be tough to go back to this unit as my main console unit. Now, a lot of folks use their bigger one up front instead of the, and they would put this 93 back there and the 106 up here. I can totally see arguments for that. I just like having the higher processor speed and the resolution on my console, and I haven't had any issues having this up here. Plus this mount I have, I'm not sure it would fit the 106 plus another graph as well, so I would probably have to switch mounts. Moving up to my second fish finder is the 73 SV, and it is basically the same as the 93 except for the screen size. So both of these units are great units. If you're looking for something in the lower price range, I think these are typically on sale for about $6.99 right now. I shouldn't say on sale, that's their normal price now that they've been discontinued. I don't recall what the price of the 73 is. In my mind, if you were gonna go for a unit, one of these, I would just say go ahead and go for the 93, because it's certainly worth the $6.99 price. This unit used to be $1,100 when it wasn't on sale at its normal price, when it wasn't discontinued. So if you can still get them for $6.99, go for it. It's pretty tough to find these nowadays, and Garmin is going to the UHD2 model. So from what I've heard, those are pretty good as well. The main difference is that those are higher resolutions. They have some, I believe, better mapping, but don't quote me on that. And then they're also wireless networking. I have all mine hardwired with the Garmin Marine network cables, so I haven't had any issues with that at all. Again, 73 up here, 93 up here. If I was going to change some things on this configuration, it would probably just be to go to some more up-to-date, bigger units in the future, probably with a side-by-side configuration instead of this up and down one. I'm more than happy with this right now. I really haven't had any issues. The 73 is, a smaller screen size, especially since you have bigger ones on here already. And when I'm standing up, this one can be a little bit tough to see. So I mainly just use this one for down view or down scan, whatever you want to call it. Clear view, I think Garmin calls it. Occasionally I'll switch to the mapping on it, but where I'm fishing right now, I know where I am. So I usually just use this one for the down view. And again, I'm not moving, so it's not going to look great. For my trolling motor, I've got the Garmin Force, and I've done a video on that before, so I couldn't be happier with it. The only issue I've had with it is the spot lock can sometimes be kind of iffy, but as long as I stop first and then turn it on, it's fine. If you keep going and then try to turn it on, it's going to go crazy on you and try to go backwards and then come back forward. I have heard the Ultra X's do that as well, so that could just be a function of the GPS, and not necessarily the Garmin. Otherwise, rock solid. Haven't had any issues with this Force trolling motor at all. Let's go to the rod locker now. And what I have down here is the Garmin Marine Network box, and it works great. No problems at all with it. Maybe a little bit overpriced. If you're looking for a network box, you can probably, configure one yourself, but this one does work great. I have my Livescope powered with an amped outdoor 32 amp hour battery that came with the charger, so I haven't had any issues with it. And then I'm powering the Force trolling motor with a ionic lithium 50 amp hour battery and haven't had any issues with it either. So that's my current setup. Hopefully you'll get some good useful info out of that if you're looking at upgrading in the future, or if you're looking at buying one of these units as well. Be sure to check out the gpsstore.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. Again, this is Rob, Instinct Bassin. Trust your gut, and I'll see you on the water.